finishes, you can start with your presentation, sir. Dr. Ajita, the recording has started. Please start introducing.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are here for the second lecture of day 10 of our 21 days national training course on advances in veterinary research for sustainable development of livestock sector. And we are obliged today to have with us Dr. Krishnapur Balagnur. I welcome you, sir. And before we start with your presentation, let me introduce yourself to our participants. Dr. Krishnapur Balagnur was born on 21st April 1983 and he completed his doctorate degree in animal gynecology and obstetrics from ICAR-IVRI Izzatnagar. He joined ICR Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute, Rajasthan as a scientist in 2013 and got associated with the project on improving sheep fertility and fecundity through ovine reproductive technologies. During his research career, he has also worked on estrus induction, estrous synchronization, AI and embryo transfer through laparoscopy, effect of stress on ram semen production. At present, Dr. Krishnappa is working as a scientist at ICAR, National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology, Bengaluru. Semenology, sperm proteomics, cryostress, cryotolerance in spermatozoa are the major areas of his research. Dr. Krishnappa has published over 20 research articles and 2 reviews in national and international peers. He is a recipient of awards like Young Scientist Award, Best Oral and Poster Presentation Award, University Merit Fellowship Grants, etc. So today he will deliver a lecture on the topic Estrous Synchronization and Artificial Insemination in Sheep, Facts and Challenges. So it is a matter of great honor for us to have you with us. Shall we start with your presentation, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Ajita, for a brief introduction.
You're welcome, sir.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity for the presentation. So before beginning, I like to express my deep condolence to one of my colleague, Dr. Devendra Kumar Roy, Principal Scientist, CSWRI. Today morning he left us, and I got an opportunity to work for 7 years in the sheep at CSWRI Vikanagar. Sir, we know that you are in our thoughts and prayers during these difficult times. I pray for the God to give us strength and courage to the family during these difficult times. So we begin with our presentation. The presentation assigned to me is Estrous Synchronization and AI in sheep, facts and figures. So the content of the presentation will go like this. I will be covering global and national sheep inventory, the major scope for sheep reproduction in the production in India, estrous synchronization in sheep, facts and figures, semen collection and AI in sheep, facts and figures, application of estrous synchronization and AI in sheep, major constraints in India, and take-home message. So coming to the inventory of the sheep stands second rank in the world, accounting 75 million population. It stands followed by the China. Coming to the distribution in India, sheep contributes 13% of the livestock population and goat contributes 27% as per the 19th livestock census. If you see the livestock population trend in India during the last 3 census, here I am depicting that in 2012 there was a dip to the 65 million sheep population, and again it has been raised to 74.26 million in 2019 or 19th livestock census. So coming to which are the states accounting for major population in case of sheep. If you see here in 2019 census, the Telangana stands first rank in the sheep population, accounting 19.1 million, followed by Andhra Pradesh 17.6 million, and the third is the Karnataka, which is 11.1 million sheep population. So coming to which are the countries major contributor for the mutton across the globe. So India ranks third, accounting 7,41,320 tons in the mutton production. So these are the states which are contributing major shares of mutton in India. You can see here Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are almost same, somewhat near to 28 and 27%, followed by Rajasthan accounting 9.48% to the total production of the mutton in India. It is as per 2018 DHS data. Coming to the breeds, if you see the major chunk of the breed like non-descript breed and other breeds, which are not recognized, or they are accounting somewhere near to 50% of the population, whereas other breeds except Marwari, which is accounting 6.7%, others are all from the southern India. You can see Nellore, Deccani, Bella regions, Mecheri, Hassan. These are all are from the southern part of the India. So we can say that sheep is majority of the sheep breeds are from the southern India and are of mutton type. Whereas coming to the goat, it is the northern states which account the major chunk of the goat population. So one should remember this aspect. So coming to the scope for sheep population in India, sheep production in India, we all know that sheep is an important source of livelihood and nutritional security to small and marginal and landless farmers, especially in semi-arid regions. It is a climate resilient. It can sustain a harsh climatic condition, and it is a low investment at the initial. So unlike the other entrepreneurs like dairy and all, it is very easy to start as it is low investment, and it is having no any religious or social taboo with acceptance of meat, mutton. So, and it is accounting for a major chunk for the export of the mutton and chuan. It is somewhere around 2 to 2,08 metric tons of the mutton is exported. Mutton plus chuan is exported annually. So across India, there are 44 sheep breeds and 34 recognized goat breeds by NBGR 2017. And as one more important aspect for the present scope for the huge scope for small ruminant production is shift in food habits towards the non-vegetarian. So this is the data which I got, latest data saying that the shift in the food habits towards the non-vegetarian has been increased gradually year by the year. The data is old, here 58% in 2004-5, and in 2012 it has been raised to 62.3%. And these are the states which are the major meat consuming states. You can see that Telangana 99% of the non-vegetarians, followed by West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, and the lowest is the Rajasthan. It is 25%. So these are the how the nation is. This is the newspaper cutting from the Hindu, and you can see the how it has been nicely depicted the distribution of non-vegetarians across the nation. Coming to the price of the mutton product, mutton per kg, I'm having a just figures from 1972 to expected to 2018, and the expected forecasted 2023 meat price, it may shoot up to 1,000, and there won't be any surprise for it. So these are the very striking points for the scope for small ruminant production. And if you see the slaughter rate has been tremendously increased over the years, and it has reached 68.48% for the slaughter for the small ruminant, for the sheep. So it and the same has been represented in the line graph you can see here, and it is 2016 data. And these are the forecasted values for the meat. You can see that by 2030, the projected demand will be 17.9 million tons of the meat. And what are the critical gaps in small ruminant production? I just got one of the FAO stat data in 2014, which was accessed in 2014. You can see here the Indian production or Indian average carcass weight of the sheep is 12 kg, and it is far low than the other developed countries. You can see here, or European countries also, they are having a very good, and there are many reasons for this. You can say I don't want to express here because the slaughter rate or it is very small compared to other countries in India. That may be one of the reason. But the other data what we found at Abhikanagar, if you compare the reproductive efficiency parameters like age at first service or age at first lambing or interlambing interval, it is far high compared to the farm values. You can see here it is in field it is too much high, and whereas in farm it is too low. It is almost near to double. Age at first lambing is also near to double. So this says that our animals are low in reproductive efficiency and take a lot of time in maturing, and they have lower extended lambing intervals. So with this we can conclude here that there is a lot of imbalance in demand and supply of the meat, especially the mutton in India. So there we need an urgent strategies to improve the productivity of Indian sheep. There are many strategies here. What I can list here into three broad headings: controlling the reproductive events to maximize the number of animal borns, Second would be the ensuring the maximum survival of the newborn lambs by interventions, by healthcare, by vaccination, proper management, that are the things. And what strategic genetic improvement can also be one of the way to improve the reproductive efficiencies. CSWR has taken many genetic improvement programs in the mode of mega sheep projects, which has distributed across the nation in many breeds. So these are the few things which I have enlisted. And before going into directly into the reproductive controlling events, controlling the reproductive events, we would like to know about some of the physiological aspects of sheep. You can see here how it differs from the goat. It has been enlisted in this table. If you see, I think everybody will know it, and it's just a brushing up. And here you can see the estrous cycle length is 17 days in case of sheep, unlike in goats. And it is a seasonal polyestrous measure in temperate countries, but it is not so in India. I will be discussing next slides. The ovulation rate is single in majority of the breeds, whereas in goat it is multiple. And behavioral stress is more subtle than goats. It is not expressed so obvious like in goat, where in goat we usually see the restless tail wagging, vocalization, and all. And the pregnancy progesterone also, it is source of production of pregnancy progesterone is little different from the goats. Goat is totally dependent on corpus luteum, whereas sheep after 75 days, placenta is also contributing a major source of progesterone. So cervical anatomy, sheep is very much different from the goat, and we will be discussing in next coming slides. So here is a picture depicting that how this that seasonal breeding is not so in case of sheep in India. Sheep are usually we are read that sheep are short day breeders. As the night length extends, there is a signal from the optic nerves, and it will be sent to the pineal gland, where pineal gland secrete melatonin, which is influencing the secretion of GnRH, there further FSH and LH, and controlling the gonad function. So this is the way how it works in short day breeders. Coming to the country like India, where they lie in the meridional latitudes. Here I am depicting that meridional latitude. Those are the countries which lying in these meridional latitudes, there is no difference in the day length and night length. So there is no involvement of photoperiod as one of the synchronizing factor. So in India, I can say there is no much seasonality in case of sheep. Okay. Coming to the other factor which is controlling the reproductive activity in sheep, maybe the modulating factors like nutrition, social interaction, stress, majorly temperature, like that. Okay. So coming to our main point, controlling the reproductive events. These are the major reproductive things, technologies which are used to control the reproduction, like other species, domestic species. Mainly the semen preservation and artificial insemination, estrous synchronization, and early pregnancy diagnosis. Unlike in cattle, where a farmer can adopt either AI or either synchronization independently, but here in case of sheep, it is highly hand in hand. I used to tell to all my trainee participants to follow these things. Always you should know that when you want to go for estrous synchronization, AI is must. Okay. Coming to the estrous synchronization, there are two different broad classification. Here I am going to emphasize only on the practical aspect. I don't want to, there are many methods in research mode, but only the which are things which are adopted worldwide, that only I am dealing. So here two broad classifications are. The one is progesterone based method, where we are extending the mimicking the corpus luteum function, and suddenly we will be withdrawing, and that will be the induction of the cycle. So the other method is PG-alpha, where we are shortening the life of the corpus luteum by injecting the prostaglandin alpha 2. Okay. So in the first method, the progesterone may be of synthetic or natural, there are many synthetic progesterone sources like norgestomate, synchromate B, elengestrol estate, medroxyprogesterone, flogestine estate. So these are all synthetic progesterone which are the route may be ear implant, oral or vaginal route, whatever may be. But thing is that the most easily available, economical in our Indian condition is the natural progesterone, which our institute has developed. Vikanagar, CSWR Vikanagar has developed. That will be coming dealing in next slides. The other method is prostaglandin F2 alpha, where we are giving 2 doses of PGF alpha intramuscularly, that to synchronize the sheep. Okay, so this is the prostaglandin alpha protocol, where we are injecting the first dose on 0th day, followed by second dose we will be injecting on the somewhere on the 10th day. So all the animals will be coming to the cycle within 36 to 48 hours after the second injection. But the only prerequisite here is the animal should be cycling, or it should be cycling. So one should ensure, otherwise the anestrus animals doesn't respond to the induction protocol. So one should be aware of this. And cost of estrous synchronization protocol with PGF alpha per sheep is rupees 200. And one should know that it is a not safe method to use in field condition, because you may not know that whether animal is pregnant or whether it is cyclic or not. You may not be aware. So accidental injection to the pregnant animal may induce in abortion before 70 days of pregnancy, because as I already told that before 70 days of pregnancy, there is no source of progesterone other than the corpus luteum, so it will terminate the pregnancy. So I strongly recommend that not to use this method when you are not knowing the history of the flock. So the second method is progesterone, and there are many firms across the globe producing these sponges, estrous synchronization sponges for sheep and goat. The two I have mentioned here, this is Chromejust CR produced by MSD Intervet, and the cost is somewhere per sponge cost may go around more than 200 rupees. It is a bit costly. And MSD Intervet also is manufacturing Polygon, which is nothing but the pregnant male serum gonadotropin. The other firm which is producing this sponge is CIDRG. It is not a sponge, but it is an intravaginal implant, you can say, like a PRID. So you are inserting here, it is a polymer based, and this company is producing Novarmon 500G, 5000. It is a PMHG. So this is this Cronjust is an US based company, whereas this Norman and CIDRG is a UK based company. So this is the difference what I wanted to say in this slide. So coming to the India, we are producing this progesterone, natural progesterone sponges. This is the kit what we have commercialized at Vikanagar. Since long, many in 10 years before, it is an old technology ours, and it has been patented. And the name of this technology is Avikasil S. Avika stands for Vikanagar, SIL stands for synchronization in livestock, and S stands for sheep. So this is the kit, and the cost when we compare with PGF alpha method, the cost here comes to 150 rupees per animal, and it is safe to use in pregnancy and even in anestrus animal. So if the animal is not cycling, and if it is pregnant also, even random or accidental insertion of this sponge into the pregnant animal doesn't induce abortion. Okay, this is the important thing. And the estrous synchronization response is 90 to 100% in our studies. Cost per kit. So one kit contains 25 sponges. So it's cost rupees 684 exclusive of GST. So the contact details also have been mentioned. You can contact, or you can go through my write-up of that this presentation. There also you can find the details. So is it okay? Are you following? Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, sir.
Yes, okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So this is the scope of huge demand and supply of the sponge from our institute. And this is a data I'm showing here from 2003 to 2017. So gradually, some states are picking up in taking the sponge technology. To mention them are like Maharashtra is also taking a lead in this sponge technology. They are using it for sheep as well as for the goat, and it is the same, one and the same. So this is used in Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and even in Rajasthan. This has been popular. This technology is, I think many people know this one. So you can, along with this kit, you can have an extra things also to buy, like a CD. We have made a technology based how to use it, what are the things. Everything has been there in that CD. You can buy it also. So these are the things. Coming to the protocol here, the difference between goat and sheep. Just I wanted to make a difference that one should not make this mistake. So there is slight difference in sheep and goat protocol with this sponge technology what we have developed. So here in goat, since the cycle length is 21 days, we must keep it for 14 days, minimum 14 days. So on the 14th day we have to take out. Whereas in case of sheep, it is only 12 days. So 12th day one should take out, and should be at the time of taking out, we should inject 200 international unit of PMSG. So PMSG may be polygon. So you can inject polygon. So within 24 to 48 hours, all the animals will come to the cycle. You can heat detect with a RAM, or you can go for fixed time insemination, whatever it is left to you. So coming to the synchronization protocol, what are the steps you should follow during synchronization? So these are the pictures which I am here showing from part of my thesis work. So this is the first step where we should go for a proper loading of the sponge into the sterilized speculum. Here I strongly recommend that use always a sterilized glass speculum with the smooth edges. It will be, speculum will be open at both the edges, and it will be smooth. So any sharp edges, it will cause a damage to the birth tract, reproductive canal. So I strongly recommend that always use a sterilized speculum. Never repeatedly use it the same one to the other animal, because it may transfer the diseases like STD, like brucellosis and all. It may transfer to the healthy animals, or you may get yourself get infected. Always wear gloves. So this is my first recommendation before taking up this at the field level. So always wear the gloves and maintain all the number of speculums. Suppose you are going for a synchronization for 30 animals, you should need a 30 speculum. More than that, always recommended, you should have 40 speculum of different small dia and big dia. So small will be used for a 1 year to old hoggets and all. So bigger one can be used for pluriparent animals. So this is the first step. You should load at one end and pull the thread from the other end. So the sponge will be having a thread. So the thread will be pulled from the other end through that speculum. So it will be loaded at the tip. And next step is you should clean the genitalia, external genitalia, with a mild Savlon or detergent. Then you should apply and insert the this loaded speculum with some paraffin applied to the surface of the speculum tip. So with a rotatory fashion you should insert. Then followed by you should push with a plunger to dislodge the sponge at the anterior part of the vagina. So once it is dislodged, slowly take the plunger followed by the speculum and leave the thread hanging for up to 2 inch. So not more than that, because it may other animals may pull it. So always don't leave too long hanging outside. So 2 inches is sufficient. You can cut with a scissor. So and it will stay in situ for 12 days. And every day you should also ensure that the sponges are there in situ for all the animals. So if any sponge is missing, you can replace with a new one at any point of the time. So so once on the 12th day it is come, you can take out the sponge by just pulling it out with a finger. The animal may struggle, animal may arch, it may have some difficulties, but still that you should apply some continuous force. Don't give jerks while taking out. The thread or sponge may break. So have a continuous force. The sponge will, at one point of time, the animal will release the sponge. Okay, the sponge will be little bit dark in color. No need to worry. It is not an infection, and within 1 day it will heal. It is a mucosa. It will heal. Any mild inflammation will be there. No need to worry. For the sponge, you need to inject 200 international unit of PMSG. This is the polygon, the one which is a dilute, and the other one is having a pellet. So you should need to dilute. It is coming with 1,000 international unit. Somewhere cost is around 600 rupees. So you need to inject 2,000. So one vial serve 5 animals. So once the sponges are out, you should burn. You should not throw. You should properly dispose either burning or burial. So once it is done, after 24 hours, you allow the apron RAM for heat detection, or you can go for fixed time insemination. Here, this is the apron what we apply to the RAM, breeding RAM, and we will let free into the flock in the early morning and late evening. So at 12-hour interval, we go for heat detection. Any animal which shows standing response, as I earlier told in my previous slides, sheep is not obvious in expressing the heat sense. So it won't express unless and until ram is there. Once the ram comes close, it will stand still and ram mounts. That is the standard sign of heat in case of sheep. So you should separate those animals and you should record which are the animals which have come to heat. And this is the other method where it is called as perpetual timing. Farmers adopt this when they don't want the ram to be bred. They use this method, and you can use this method to detect the heat also. The sex ratio, what ram to ewe ratio in various breeding protocols here I have mentioned in this table. You can see here the different things are mentioned. The important thing what I wanted to highlight here is in synchronization you should follow 1:10 or 1:15 ratio, whereas in normal where there is no synchronization, it is ideally it is 1:30 or 1:40. That is the ideal sex ratio for sheep. So here I strongly recommend that for every 10 to 15 sheep, you should have one ram, or you should have some gap between that. After certain period of rest, you can let the ram for heat detection. So before going to the artificial insemination part, let us have some few slides on semen collection in sheep. It is not much different, but the extender is different from the cattle buffalo. Okay, the sterilization is one of the most important part here. It is same for all, like bulls. So this is the method which you have to follow, the sterilization for all these things: artificial insemination, artificial vagina, guns, distilled water, everything, media preparation. It's all the same, nothing much difference. So the day which we are going for artificial insemination with the liquid semen, you need to collect the semen on the same day with the liquid semen. So this is the preparation of the extender. You should you should weigh the chemicals, you should prepare the egg yolk, and you should mix. And this is the composition of the extender. Liquid semen preservation can note, it is mentioned in the note, write-up note also, you can go through. And this is the semen collection protocols in ram adopted AV method and electroejaculation method. These are two common methods. Many of you know electroejaculation is more painful and it is less concentrated, because sometimes urine may get mixed or contaminated, and it is less of extraneous substance. So AV method is most natural, and it is most recommended method, like cattle, bulls in case of rams also. So these are this is the electroejaculation ejaculator used at NIANP. These are the, here I am having a link. I don't know whether it will play or not. I will try. Let us have a look at it. Is it playing? Hello? Is it playing?
Yes, it started.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is playing, but audio is not there.
Yes, playing.
It's playing now.
Audio.
Yes, sir.
Are
It
you
is
able
playing.
to see the video?
No audio, sir.
Audio is not there.
No audio.
Video is playing,
No
sir.
audio. Yeah. I will tell the audio. So he is inserting the probe, and it just, you should put a ventral force before inserting probe. You should remove the feces and all, and a ventral pressure, and just you should give a pulse 4 to 5 times. So just then give in a pulse you have to give. So you should try for 3 times only, not more than 3. If it is not giving, you should stop it. Otherwise, it will lead to permanent paralysis. So it is a artificial. It is a cup holding the cup. This is handle holding the cup. So you can see that semen has been delivered and it has completed protocol. The milky semen. So it needs a skill to collect. Otherwise, sometimes it may, if you stimulate too much bladder, it may urine may comes in and get contaminated with semen. Okay. So moving to the next slide, this is the artificial vagina, part of the artificial vagina. It is little sheep and goat artificial vagina. It is same what we used to use in Avikanagar. So the dia is 5 centimeter hard rubber cylinder and length is 20 centimeter. The liner dia is same as of hard rubber cylinder, but length of the rubber liner is 30 centimeter. Here one difference, what one must note here is, unlike in case of bull, we are not using cone. The semen volume is hardly 1 ml or 1 cc in case of sheep. So if you use the cones, majority of the semen may go waste. So here we are not using the cone, rather we are using the cup, which is directly attached to here at the other end of the artificial vagina. You can see here there is a small, this is an IMV vagina which is having a little bit cone, but what we are using in India, we are not using IMV. It is bit costly. One can go for it. It's not bad. It's very good. It is, but thing is that it is little bit costly. So we used to use this one, and we don't use cone. We directly attach the semen collection cup. If one needs this, there are no much suppliers. One can get these kind of custom design cups. If you really need, you can contact me. I can share the address. Who are the suppliers in India? These are the trainees who are collecting the hands-on training program. They used to collect themselves, and we used to have a 10-day training program for the field vets at Avikanagar. So these are all the trained rams which are standing behind, and they just come and in a fraction of a second they will donate the semen. So always better to teach 2 to 3 times before collecting the ejaculate. So a semen will be subjected for subjective evaluation. So initially we should go for color, consistency and all. Here is the mass motility score. One can see here that if it is a clear, cloudy, watery, thin, milky, and accordingly we have to score. The semen which is having 4 and 4 above, 4 and 4 plus will be considered as suitable for semen preservation or freezing. So that semen will be used for artificial insemination. Rest others, milky, thin, milky kind of semen we usually discard. So these are the mass motility figures. I could not include the video clips of these because it will be difficult when the presentation gets loaded. Sometimes I face many times difficulty to play. This is the 4 and 5 score. When you see the mass motility, these are the 2 scores which we recommend for freezing or semen preservation. So the other part of the year in third score, mass motility score, here the waves will be there, but it will be of less intensity. Here will be of more, but here it will be very rapid. So only 4 and 5 scores are considered for semen preservation. When the semen is preserved with a programmable freezer, we are having a program set of program. This is a programmable freezer. This is a complete automated. This is a semi-automated machine. Once it is set, so the temperature will be taken from 25 degrees Celsius to minus 125 degrees within 5 minutes. So the freezing rate is adopted is 25 degrees Celsius per minute. So it will decrease from 25 to minus 125 within 5 minutes. Okay. So once minus 25 is reached, we will dip those straws into the liquid nitrogen and stored for the next. So this is the post-war motility evaluation of frozen semen of ram. You can see usually we get this kind of motility. We can say it is 45 to 50% post-war motility in case of rams. So there are multiple parameters. You can see rapid sperms 50 to 58% motility. So there are many variables here. You can note rapid, medium, slow. We have set the cutoffs accordingly. It is a system software based. It will calculate and it will give you all the variables. So this is the CASA. Coming to the artificial insemination methods, there are 3 methods what we adopt in case of sheep. As I was telling, we are having 2 different extenders depending upon the type of semen. So here with the chilled semen, we used to go for either cervical insemination or external loss insemination or transcervical insemination. So with chilled semen, the first method is external loss insemination. Here we locate the cervical os from through the speculum with a headlight or with a sunlight, and then we will deposit 0.2 ml of the semen 0.2 ml contains 200 million spermatozoa directly deposited over the external walls of the cervix. So this fixed time insemination used to do at the field at 48 and 60 hours of the sponge out. So on the second day after the sponge out, we used to go to the field after collecting the semen, and we used to deposit 0.2 ml of semen to each animal at morning as well as at evening at 60 hours of the sponge out. So this is the pipette. Tarsans used to make this kind of pipettes, and this is the glass pipette, 0.2 ml glass pipette, which will be connected, and we will aspirate and will push with the plunger. This is the method which we used to adopt with the chilled semen for external loss insemination, and this is the semen shipper. So once the semen is collected, it will be stored in a screw cap coil, and it will be chilled over the ice. So sometimes we may take 6 hours to reach the site of insemination. So after collecting, we'll dilute it and we'll place it in a 37-degree water bath and then place it over the ice. So gradually the water bath temperature will gradually will drop from 37 to 4 degree by the time you reach. Just there is no special thawing here. You just aspirate and deposit the semen over the cervix. This is the method. So coming to the second method is transcervical insemination, and it is recommended with the chilled semen, frozen semen. So here the dose is same. Whatever we are depositing here, it is 0.25 ml semen, but the only thing is the sperm we are using double, 400 million sperms we are using here, because it is with the frozen semen, the consumption rate is very low, so we used to go for more concentration. And this is our pharma director, Dr. S.M. Kanakwe, is doing. He has only developed this device, custom made device, and he has taken a lumbar spinal needle and he has fabricated it with a hub. He has welded, and the tip has been blunted and it has been angulated at 35 degree. You can see the length also, how much he used to maintain, and he has developed a miniature bulb to visualize through the speculum. This is the miniature bulb, battery operated. Through that you can visualize, and this is the cradle to restrain the sheep for proper visualization of the cervix. So he used to visualize the cervix, then pass the needle, this gun connected with this needle. This is the gun which has been connected to the needle. So through this he used to penetrate the extra cervix into the uterus. So there usually the only difficulty here is it takes a lot of time, patience, and when there will be injury also. Many times the animal may bleed also, and the consumption rate may also go down, unlike in case of external loss insemination. So the other method which we used to use with the frozen semen is laparoscopic artificial insemination. So this is transcervical and laparoscopic artificial insemination is done with the frozen thawed semen. Okay, so one should know what are the advantages of laparoscopy over the transcervical insemination or cervical insemination. It requires very low semen dose. Unlike I was telling that 200 to 400 like that, here it's only 50 million live spermatozoa are enough to go for laparoscopic insemination, and it can be used for breed improvement programs. Conception rate is 85%. Australia has recorded up to 85%, and technique is very rapid compared to transcervical artificial insemination, and no post-operative complication. We did at Avikan around 60 animals, 70 animals. We didn't get any post-operative complications, and it is a rapid infusion of valuable genetic traits in short span of time at the field level. So in Australia and all, they are doing very routinely laparoscopic breed improvement program. And one should know that this technology boosts other reproductive technologies also. You can go for embryo transfer with this technology. So it is one of the with wide applications this technology is having, and it is an efficient AI tool to regenerate the endangered species without much invasive type of surgeries. So this is the instrumentation part where laparoscopy one has to do. You can see this is the principle how you should do. Through one port we will be visualizing the reproductive organs. Through other miniature hole we will be inserting the artificial insemination gun, and we will be depositing the semen into the horns. So this is the cradle developed by IMV to restrain the animal. So this cradle will restrain at a 35 or 40 degree angle, so that reproductive organs can be visualized properly. This is the telescope, 10 mm telescope, angled. There are three kinds with the angulation: 0 angle, 30 angle, and 45 angle. So we used to have 45 degree angle for better visualization, and it is most recommended. And these are the trockers which are used for visualization. This is a 10 mm trocker, and this is a 5 mm trocker. I used to use a 10 trocar for this telescope and a 5 trocar for infusing the for inserting this insemination catheter. So this is the entire setup made by Starch. So we had this Starch machine at Vikanagar, and these are the telescope optic cable for the light source from this machine to this telescope, and this is the infusion tube, CO2 infusion tube, which will be connected to the inflator, and through here we are infusing the oxygen through here, sorry, through this port. So this is the insemination gun, what we can say, and these are the sheets used for loading the semen straw into the sheet. Okay, and this is the trocar for properly placing into the sheet. So these are the few steps which we adopt in laparoscopic, and it is a totally team work. One person can't do. At least 5 to 6% dedicated team is required to handle this kind of laparoscopic artificial insemination. This is the indigenous, our Vikanagar has developed this cradle. We used to restrain this animal after injecting with a xylazine 0.2 ml tranquilization. So once animal is done, we will be cleaning, and we are disinfecting the surgical site. So just 4 centimeter anterior to the other is the most preferred site on either side of the umbilical line. So once it is done, we will be applying the drape over that, and this is the positioning. What you can see that 35 to 40 degree angulation will be made so that reproductive organs will be clearly visible. So you can visualize as the telescope or either directly to, once you connect the camera cable, you can visualize in the monitor also. So 2 persons will be operating, 1 person will be visualizing and handling, because the other person will be pushing the semen into the uterine horn. So you can see here the one horn is already inseminated, the upper one, and just a small pinpoint bleeding is there. So there won't be any profuse bleeding if you do properly it at the right site of insemination. There is no any infusion, and the needle is so long that it won't go through and through. If you are pricking at the right point, it will just go into the uterine lumen. So like that, if you have to deposit half of the semen in one arm and half in the other arm, if you are not knowing the side of the ovulation. So coming after 40 days of insemination, if you are having a transabdominal probe, you can go for pregnancy diagnosis, and if you are having a transrectal probe, you can go bit early, even at 28 days, you can go for pregnancy diagnosis. And this is the ultrasound machine, Doppler machine we had at Vikanagar, and so this Sonosite company which we had, and this is, you can see a 40 days conceptus. So here crown rump length, and is indicating the gestation length as 6 weeks. So here is the CRL. So you can calculate gestation based on gestation sac diameter, CRL length, BPD, and all. You may be knowing that. So this is what we used to do at Vikanagar. After 40 days, we used to go for pregnancy diagnosis, and we used to calculate, and whichever the animals which are not considered, we used to go for either resynchronization or we used to go for culling. So this is the flock which is produced after laparoscopic insemination in my, as a part of my PhD program from Bareilly. So you can see that I got with the different experimental group, I got 57 to 63% of lambing, and this was our team, dedicated team which we used to together work for hard time. And Dr. Sangaratna is missing in this photograph. So he is also my colleague, and he worked. Devendra Kumar sir also, he worked. He was my guide, in fact. So this is the team, and these are the facts, values, what I wanted to share with you with the different insemination protocols. So this is the, as I told you, is external os insemination. We are depositing on the os cervix with a liquid 7.2 ml. Okay, so here the lambing percentage is 40 to 80%, and transcervical insemination, we are trying to pass through the cervix into the uterus. Many times we may not go, we may inseminate in the mid of the cervix itself, or we may injure the cervical canal with the needle also. So in that case, the chances of conception goes down, and we have recorded up to 20% lambing. So higher 4 to, I can say on an average it is less than 20% lambing in case of transcervical insemination with the frozen semen, and with laparoscopy with the frozen semen, we have recorded 60% lambing. As I was showing in previous slide, we got 60% lambing. So Australia has shown up to 82% they have recorded lambing with the frozen semen. So these are the applications of Estrous Synchronization and artificial insemination. I already covered that, but here I wanted to emphasize on the last one. So these are all other routine as like our cattle buffalo, same. Here we have used this technology at Abhikanagar. We used to develop a breed improvement program. You can say that we have developed a prolific sheep, Avishan, by name Avishan, which is having an ability to give 2 lambs or each time 2 or 3 lambs. Not so. This breed was developed at Abhikanagar, and when we brought that Yarol from West Bengal, we tried to cross with our Malpura. So there was a problem in crossing because the Malpura was a heavy breed, and whereas Garol was very short, so they were unable to mate. So we used artificial insemination. We synchronized the flock. We did artificial insemination, and then we got F1. So such kind of breed improvement programs we may require this technology. And the last one, which I wanted to emphasize here, is accelerated lamb production. It is one of the technology what has been widely adopted in case of intensive farming, sheep farming. So you can ask what are the benefits and challenges for accelerated lamb production. Before going back, I wanted to show you that what is accelerated lamb production. Producing 3 lambings in 2 years is called an accelerated lamb. Usually lambs won't give so frequently. It may take 9 months, 10 months like that. So if you are accelerating the production at every 8 months, if it is able to this called accelerated lamb production. So what are the benefits? It will have increased productivity, more sheep per sheep. We can say reduced fixed costs because labor management will be more efficient. Efficient utilization resources, opportunist marketing. You can pre-plan if there are any festivals. For that, if there is a huge scope demand for the mutton, you can accordingly plan the program. Even you can plan your labor utilization, reduce the market risks. So these are the benefits. What are the challenges? You should have better nutrition. You can't go when there is an increase in production or reproduction, the nutrition is also increases, requirements increases. One should know, otherwise you will suffer. So the second one is more of supplement feeding is required. High quality forage, set of high health standards. The flock should have high health standards. I will be discussing in the last what are the health standards. One should have reproductive health standards, and more labor is required. So these are the technologies what I was discussing, which are having a role in accelerated lamb production. So when you are adopting accelerated lamb production, you need to have a synchronization in your hand as well as artificial venom. And early pregnancy testing is very must to breed them properly. This is the protocol what we follow. 3 lambings in 2 years. We adopted in Malpura as well as Patanwadi breeds at Abhikanagar. So Malpura breed was in extensive system of in semi-extensive system of breeding. So Malpura was successful in this category 3 lambings in 2 years. You can see here. Let us presume that suppose if we are breeding in the month of June, which is the major breeding season at Abhikanagar, so the animals will lamb in the month of November. So we will use to give a rest for 3 months. So we should ensure that once 2 months are over, we should start the breeding. After 45 to 50 days, we should start breeding. Whichever comes first, naturally breed them. Those who won't come, you should induce or you should synchronize them and breed them. So you should ensure that by February, all the animals will be bred again. So then it will, so cycle continues like that. So this is the 3 lambings in 2 years, and there is another one system which is called Cornell star system. This is 5 lambings in 2 years. The only difference is here is you can see it is here interlambing interval is 8 months. Here it is 7.2 months. It's a bit more tight compared to that 3 lambings in 2 years, and this is developed by Cornell University. So the name Cornell star system. So these are the reproductive performance targets for intensive system of rearing for meat purpose. The consumption rate for the flock should be minimum 90%. Age at first lambing 12 to 14 months. Lambing rate per exposure to the lamb 95 to 100% in case of use, and 90% in ewe lambs. Lambs born per exposure to the ram 1.3 for extensive range use, whereas for intensive it is 2. Abortion rate should be less than 5%. Lamb mortality maximum 5%. Lamb sold per ewe per cycle 0.8. Distribution of lambing 70% of the ewes should conceive to the first breeding opportunity. So these are the breeding standards that one should follow for a profitable sheep farming. So what are the measures? We discussed everything. So then one can easily ask, why it is not so popularly adopted at the field. So many of you have concluded that these are the points, but I wanted to share from my side. The first and foremost is incomplete exploitation of genetic potential of indigenous breeds. So right now, this is the way why we are not able to succeed in small ruminant industry. There is very genetic potential is not properly utilized. There is large proportion of non-descript with low reproductive efficiency in case of India, lack of knowledge, indiscriminate or unplanned breeding, slaughtering at young age. As I was telling that our slaughter weight is only 12 kg. We are slaughtering at young age also. Rapid shrinkage of natural pasture or grazing land is also one of the reasons. Insufficient and inaccessible veterinary health care is also one of the major challenges. Unlike in large ruminants, usually the sheep is more neglected. Non-availability of proper marketing facility, and there is no value for the wool in past few decades. Fading interest of youths from farming communities for sheep. As we all know that nowadays youths are not coming forward. Insufficient organized financial support for sheep farming. So these are the major constraints, and the other constraints for adaptation of the AI technology in sheep are: first one is the complex external loss of the sheep cervix. So unlike in case of goat or in case of cattle buffalo, it is the sheep cervix is of 5 different types: duckbill type, slit type, rose type, papillate type, and flap type. So these are each animal will in a flock. The animal may have any one of this. It will be a surprise while doing a artificial. Some will be having a very easy. Some will be having a very tough to pass the gun. So the duckbill type is a bit easier. The slit rose type and this one flap type, they are a little bit complex. You can't pass the gun. Even not only the opening. If you see the the canal, cervical canal is much more complex than that of the external loss. We can see this is the silicon mold prepared by Dr. McQueen in 2005. It's so beautiful that funnel shaped annular rings which are aligned. They are eccentric. They are not aligned one over each exactly at the one over the other. So it is in a zigzag fashion. You can't pass your gun so easily like that of goat. So it's highly convoluted, tortuous canal, and cervical length is more than that of goat. You have 5.6 to 5 to 6 centimeter length, and there are many folds, 4 to 6 numbers, and they are not aligned properly. As I was telling, you can really appreciate in this silicon mold. So these all things makes the artificial insemination very complex in case of sheep. That was the reason why it is not much adopted and still at the research mode. So this is the grade 1 we used to calculate as a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 based upon the anatomy of the cervical canal. So it is very difficult to pass through the grade 3 cervix. So in these cases, we will be depositing the semen at the mid in case of transcervical insemination. We may not go deep. So this is a test which we used to do with done with the methylene blue. We are depositing the methylene blue. We are completely passed into the uterus. Here you can see it has been inseminated here itself, methylene blue. So it is highly difficult to pass in a grade 2 and grade 3 cervix. So the third major constraint for adaptability of this technology in case of sheep is poor feasibility of triamcinon. We say that 40% and all, but many times we may not get exactly 40%. It will be lower than that. So if you dilute it more, also there will be chances of more damage to the. Unlike we can go up to the 100 million per ml, but not in case of this sheep. If you go more and more dilution, the viability will be less. There will be more of damages to the spermatozoa, to the membrane and all. So we won't get a desirable consumption rate like that of goat as well as bull. So this is then one of the other reason. And coming to the synchronization, presently India is facing problem in case of polygon. We are not having a source of polygon in India. Up to 2019 or 18, it was okay. We were getting MSD intervet used to supply. Nowadays, they are not supplying. If you ask, they will say that you should order in bulk. They won't supply in small quantity. So these are the few major challenges in sheep synchronization as well as artificial insemination. My take-home message for the presentation is: South and Central India have rich source of sheep population, whereas goats in Northern India. Reproductive management is of more concern than the fertility in small ruminants. Importance of accelerated lamb production must reach commercial forms. Special sheep strains like Avishan and Tumba must be reared with an intensive management system. Improve the coverage of genetic improvement programs in small ruminants. As I was telling, there are many genetic improvements programs, like you can say RKVY, you can say NLM, National Livestock Mission, or some specific improvement programs like Mega Sheep Shed Project, EICRP on goats, but things they are not having coverage throughout the major population. So these are the take-home messages. So I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. So please, if you have any questions, doubts, queries, it's open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an extensive presentation on the Estrous Synchronization and artificial insemination in sheep. There are a few questions in the chat box. I'll read out them for you, sir. The first question is from Dr. S. First question is from Dr. S. Krishnakumar. He's asking 1 kit for 25 animals. Is it correct, sir? I think during Estrous Synchronization,
yeah,
he was asking this question.
No, one kit contain 25 sponge. One kit contain 25 sponge for 25 animals. One sponge per animal.
He is asking whether the sponge is reusable or not.
No. You can't reuse it. If you don't, you should not reuse the sponge and you should not reuse the speculum. You should sterilize it. Then only you should use it.
Okay, sir. Then he is
Otherwise,
again asking,
it will spread the infection.
Frozen semen technique. Okay, sir. Okay. Then he's again asking that in frozen semen technique with simple speculum method in Tellicherry goat, we got more than 80% conception through cervical deposition. He's telling this, I think, because of synthetic wool is much lower than natural wool. Another question is from Dr.
Thing is that
yes, sir. You can address it.
Yeah,
sir.
in case of goats, it is as I was telling, it is easier, far better, and AI technology is more accepted in goats compared to sheep, because I told already the cervix is a bit simple. You can pass the gun, you can use the frozen soy, and you can get a good conception. But not in case of sheep. It is a bit difficult. It is challenging.
Okay, sir. Sir, then Dr. Tukheshwar, he's asking, sir, did you experience any issue while processing sheep semen for cryopreservation?
The thing is that, it's a good question. When you dilute more, you will get, you won't get a good freezability. And one more challenging issue is repeatability is not there. Some challenges are there. Repeatability, you should have an ideal conditions, semen handling conditions, then only you may get repeatability. And second thing, you can't dilute more. If you dilute more, you won't get better post-thaw motility. Some dilution effect is there. So that is the thing. We won't expect good motility after post-thaw in case of ram semen. Some damages are there, needs to be addressed.
Okay, sir. Then he's again asking, is there any ethical issue for using electro-ejaculator for semen collection?
Yeah, you should take permission from animal ethics committee before starting. You should have an approval. It is not a major one. They will approve. It is not so much damaging, but they will approve. You have to take.
Okay, sir. Okay. So these are all the questions in the chat box. If anybody else wants to ask something from sir, they can unmute themselves and ask directly. Any other participant with any other question?
Sir, this is Krishnapur from Tamil Nadu. Sir, I am audible?
Yeah,
yes, you are audible.
Yeah, sir, good afternoon, sir. It's very good presentation, sir. in the field, as you rightly pointed out, people are expecting more regarding commercial sheep production. So as you mentioned, the accelerated program is very well addressed by the farmer in the field level. We have to concentrate on concentrate feeding. Definitely, we will get it. On my simple question is whether that Avishal is available, sir, from your strain in your.
Vishal strain is available at Nagar. The only thing is that a
Okay.
farmer should give an application to the concerned PI project, PI of that project, stating that he is a farmer, and that letter should be issued from his panchayat president or chairman, and he should write a letter addressing that he is a farmer, is having so many number of sheep, he is a sheep farmer, he is interested in so animal. So whenever the availability is there, there is a long queue. Okay, so many farmers have applied, they will be applying. So whenever they get the opportunity, they will call that farmer and they will tell that your number has come, you have to come and you have to collect your sheep. So they may give 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, not more than that. Okay.
Okay.
They will give to the farmer.
What is the bar?
In limited numbers.
Yeah, what is the cost, sir? What is the cost,
Cost
sir?
is very cheap. You can.
Kg?
Yeah, it is not. It is very reasonable price. You can go through CSWR website and you toggle at the down in the last at the bottom of that website. You can find the book value. You can click the book value of the icon. A PDF will come. There are all the breeds that are having, as per the age there is a price. As per the age, as per the breed, there is a price. So you go through the CSWR website and book price.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So there is one more question in the chat box from Dr. Rupal Pathak. The question is, sir, can we get sponge in Chhattisgarh if we start this method here in the state?
Sorry, can we get the sponge at Chhattisgarh?
Sponge in Chhattisgarh, they want to start this method in their state. So they are asking the availability of the sponge in Chhattisgarh.
Yes, it is available. You can mail to the head of the department, Dr. Raghavendra Singh. I have mentioned the mail, you can go through. It is there in the write-up also. You just put a mail, drop a mail to him stating that we are starting such a program. We need this many number of sponges. One kit contains 25. You can give multiples of that 25. 2 kits, 3 kits, like that, accordingly as per your requirement. You have to use those sponge within 6 months. Ideally, we recommend within 6 months or within 1 year you should reuse those sponge. You can definitely buy, and extra GST you have to pay. So they will give a pro forma invoice for you. So you have to deposit money online. So share the address. Once the payment is confirmed, the sponges will be sent to your address within 1 or 2 months.
Okay, sir. Then one more question is from Dr. Suresh Ramalingam. He is asking how many times we can do synchronization protocol in sheep's lifetime.
Yeah, it is a really good question. Thing is that here when we can use repeatedly, but only thing is that when you are using PMSG very frequently, within 1 month or 2 months, the antibodies may develop against PMSG. Following on that, PMSG, pregnant male serum gonadotrophin, is a little big molecule, is a glycoprotein. So the antibodies will be produced. So the efficiency of giving ovulation or conception will go down when you are using repeatedly the synchronization protocol with PMSG. So I always recommend you give a gap, or if you want to do, only do twice, not more than that. So the antibodies will be developed, and it may reduce the chance of conception or number of multiple births. So that is the only concern. That's why I recommend only maximum 2 times in that particular breeding season or whatever.
Okay, sir. Then he is again asking that hormonal therapy has its own merits and demerits. Please share your views, sir.
Yeah, demerit itself, as I told, it all depends upon its biological life. So some hormones like PGF alpha as I already told, its very half-life is very short. Within a fraction, half minute or like in seconds, it will get metabolized and excreted from the body, and it won't have any side effects except if you are using it in pregnant animal. Okay, if you are using in pregnant animal, it may cause abortion. Otherwise, to the health of the animal, PGF-alpha is not having major side effect in case of sheep and goat. Whereas in case of pregnant male serum gonadotropin or PMSG, it is having side effect like it is big molecule and it is having side effect like some refractoriness animal may develop. These are the some drawbacks of these hormones, what I can say.
Okay, sir. Then Dr. Sudhanshu Shekhar, he is asking, in goats, what are the different protocols used for estrous synchronization? Which one give optimum results?
Actually, really speaking, we have not tried much. When there is an ideal cost-efficient protocol we are having in our hand, we didn't try the other one alternative. So, for the field recommendation, I say that this is the most efficient and economical protocol which we have at present moment. So, I don't have much experience on this. We didn't try in goats as well as even in sheep also we didn't try much with different methods of synchronization. We tried with the semen preservation and artificial insemination, but we didn't change the synchronization protocol with a different hormone. We did only PGF-alpha as well as this point method. So we have not used other protocol, and I am not in the present moment. I can't say about this.
Okay, sir. Then Dr. Rupesh Rawal is asking, PMSG is not available, so which other hormone we can use for estrous synchronization?
See, right now, CSWR Vidyanagar is conducting experiment in large mode on. We are trying to use with an easily available hormone like Receptal and all. We are trying, and still it, results has not been disclosed. So I'm not at present moment. I'm not in a position to share that information. So you can try with the GnRH. The time, dose, and all I can't say right now. Okay.
Okay, sir. So I think these are the all questions from the participants. So I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Krishnappa for sharing your valuable and deep knowledge with our participants. And you have extensively covered the practical details of the techniques to enhance the reproductive performance of sheep. And I hope our participants are very well benefited. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We can leave now.
Sir, you can stop sharing your screen, sir.
Yeah. I'm talking.